Hey guys, we have a fun crafting video for you today. We're going to check out Little Bin's Little Hands tutorial for clear slime. You can see I chose to put some pink glitter in there. My daughter's favorite color is pink, so we decided to do that. We're going to test out another color, so let's check it out. Okay, so you'll need a couple things. You don't need glitter. I happen to already have it from another project. I don't necessarily promote getting glitter because it's not great for the ocean. I had it for these little timeout jars that I made for my daughter's birthday party last year. And we were gonna do a Pinterest craft class for this. Obviously that's gonna be postponed. We will plan on doing this in the future in person, but if you want me to do a video on this, just let me know in the comments below. If there's a lot of interest, I'll do that. So I bought this glitter off of Amazon. It's actually a body glitter. I think people use it for Coachella. And the reason I bought it, I have some used ones over here. You can take a look at that, but it has lots of different sizes. So it has like bigger sequins and then like smaller glitter. So I just liked the look of it. It wasn't so uniform, and they have really fun colors, which I like bright colors. So I will put a link down below in the comments where I bought this because I figured people would be asking where I got that from. Other than that, if you want to have the clear version, you'll need clear Elmer's glue. I know they also make like glitter glue. You could use that. I happen to do a lot of crafting. I have a big thing of Elmer's glue. You'll need a bowl and a spatula. You're gonna need some contact solution. This is the brand I happen to use. And you need to make sure that it has boric acid and sodium borate in it. That's what's going to work in the chemical reaction between those chemicals and the PVA in the glue. You're gonna need some baking soda, not much, just a tablespoon, and then just some measuring utensils. All right, so let's get started. All right, so the first thing we're going to measure out, we'll need a 1/2 cup of the glue. So I am a messy person. I'm going to do this over a plate. Pour this out here. Pour this in our bowl. All right, the next thing we're going to do in a different bowl, we have a 1/2 cup of warm water, and we're going to pour that into a separate little bowl. And this is when we're going to add our baking soda to dissolve that. So we're going to use a 1/2 teaspoon there. I'm just going to stir that with this measuring spoon here. Make sure that dissolves. Okay, that looks good. And then we're just going to carefully incorporate that into our glue. Okay, mix that in. Okay, and this is the point where if you're going to add your glitter, to go ahead and do that. All right, some really fun glue. A little bit of this aqua. I have a mermaid inspired color here. All right, going to mix that in. All right. Okay, and it's at this point that we're going to be adding that saline solution, that eye contact solution. When you add that, you're going to have to mix quickly, and this is why I made a sample one first, and I'm glad I did, because the first time I did it, I thought it didn't work and I threw it out. It just takes a little time, so trust the process, and you'll probably get a little arm workout in here. So, all right, so we're going to start out with 1 tablespoon, and you're going to mix that in, and then it says to mix quickly. And then when you start, you kind of notice the texture is going to change. And then once you do that, it'll start kind of coming away from the bowl a little bit. And at that point, you're going to put some saline solution on your hands and work it with your hands at that point. So we'll go ahead and do this. Let me squeeze a tablespoon here. I'm going to go right up to the top because we ended up using quite a bit when I got to the point where I was kneading it with my hands. So I think the recipe says when you get to the point where you're going to add it with your hands and knead it to kind of use a few drops. And it really, I can just tell right now it's already thickening. But when I first did just a few drops, I was like, oh gosh, this is just not enough. And I think the reason they have you do that is because if you add a lot at once, like a whole bunch, it's going to be just like rubbery. So just add a little bit as you go, and you'll kind of know when you get to the point where, you know, you can poke your fingers into it and it's not, you know, sticking to you like glue. That's the point. Okay, so you can kind of see my textures changing a little here. I wouldn't say that's enough to do the hand part yet. I'm just gonna vigorously stir this. So we're gonna be, because we're stirring so much air into this, we're gonna be getting bubbles in here. If you just let it sit a couple of days, the air bubbles all come to the top, and then you can take that layer of air bubbles off, is what it says. So obviously I made mine earlier today, so we haven't tested that part out, but I can add a picture in the comments once it's been sitting for a little while. Okay. Not quite there. Every time I think I'm almost there, it's like, oh, not quite. Getting a little closer here. Okay, I feel like it's changing texture a little bit there for me. I'll go ahead and see if this is the point I want to start going by hand. Oh yeah, I can feel that it's not just glue at this point. So when you first put your fingers in here, you're going to say, oh, Mandy, what are you asking me to do? Because this just feels like you're sticking your hands in glue, because essentially that's kind of what you're doing. This is the beginning of the kneading process, and I'm just going a little at a time. I think when you first start out with this part, I would go one-handed, because it's nice to have the other hand kind of manipulate the bowl a little bit. And you can still do that if you have both hands in here, but you are going to have messy hands, as you can see. So I would try one hand at a time. You can already see it's starting to kind of pull away from the bowl better at this point. Still obviously very liquidy and goopy. So I'm going to add some more in. I'm trying to stay in frame here. Sorry, guys. Okay. Oh yeah. That feels better. You can still see though that it's just really sticky on my fingers yet. And I'm doing this with a little more confidence than I did the first time by putting more in, just because it said a few drops, you know, and I think they just want you to not put a whole bunch in right away, because it can be more of a rubbery texture. They do have other recipes for different slimes on their page. This is their clear slime. So if you just have regular glue, they have different recipes, and those ones are like, they always said this was like firmer than the other ones, but I think it's a good consistency once you get it where you want it. So You can see it's starting to get where I want it. And when I put this in, I try and put some around the outside rim and also on top, because then it's easier to work in. So you kind of just keep doing this. You kind of feel like you're just playing with it, you're kneading it. And it's hard to knead because it kind of sticks to you. But we'll get it to a good place. We're getting pretty close. You can kind of see how it's kind of grouping together. Guys, this is really great, like, therapy. It's a really fun texture to play with. That's why I picked it, because it was kind of a fun craft. It's like neat for the eye because it's a pretty glitter. I'm sure you could use food coloring. The nice thing about the glitter that I'm using, because it has that different texture within the glitter, it almost, you don't need food coloring because it kind of penetrates whatever you're using the glitter in. All right, I think we're pretty good. And I think the other thing is, if you go to play with this and it's like super sticky, you could just add a little bit of the contact solution. If you have contact wearers in your house and you just have it in your house all the time, you could add just a few drops to the top and incorporate it in. It'd be good. I don't know that I would put this in like a plastic bag. Like I know Play-Doh you could store in a plastic bag. I would definitely put this in a container of some sort with a lid. I don't know how long it lasts, but pretty easy to make and a pretty cheap craft. So yeah, so this is fun. So if you guys test this out and do it, if you want to put a picture in the comments below, I'd love to see what you guys come up with. I will set these aside for a couple of days, see if I can get that bubble layer off. It doesn't really bother me with the glue, you don't really see it. But we can take pictures of that and show everybody what that looks like. So that's what we have for today. I hope you guys had fun. Thanks for joining us. Bye.